Welcome to third part of our constitution. In this part we will learn fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are basic rights of people. Constitution has provided 6 rights to the people of India. Before it was 7. But through 44th amendment, right to property has been abolished from our constitution and now there are 6 fundamental rights in our constitution. All the 6 fundamental rights are mentioned in the third part of our constitution. Article number 12 to 35 speaks about fundamental rights. Now let us study what are the importance of fundamental rights. As you know that these are basic rights, so they are necessary for the development of the personality of citizen. It is required for a person to lead a civilized life and it is also essential for the success of democracy. Now we can study about fundamental rights. First one is right to equality. This is the first and foremost important fundamental right among 6 fundamental rights. According to this right, all are equal before the law. Nobody is above the law. All should get equal protection of the law and none should be discriminated against on the basis of their caste, religion, gender or place of birth. No citizen entry restricted to shop, public places, hotels, public place of worship, etc. According to right to equality, untouchability is an offence. Offence means punishable process because untouchability practice encourage inequality in the society. This right encourages to citizen to get equal opportunity to join government services without any discrimination. Every citizen equally can join government services. Totally, its aim is to establish equality in the society. Now let us go to second fundamental right, right to freedom. Right to freedom also one of the important fundamental right. This right given some freedom to citizen. According to this right, a person who can express his own opinion. People can conduct the meeting without arms. That means conducting a peaceful meeting without any weapons. People can establish any kind of organizations. And people can live anywhere in India and they can move around the country. Under this right, people can follow any profession of their desire and no state law can occupy life and freedom of a citizen. Third right is right against exploitation. The aim of this right is to prevent exploitation of women, children, poor people and other weaker sections of the society. According to this right, begging is an offense because here children gets exploited by their parents. Practice of Devdasi system, Sati system and other immoral activities also an offense. I'll repeat, offense means punishable process. In Sati system and Devdasi system, women gets exploited by society. Under this right, child labor also abolished. So, it tries to protect these weaker sections from exploitation. Fourth right is right to freedom of religion. As you know that India is a secular country and there is no national religion. So, people can accept any religion that their conscience dictates. Conscience means their inner feelings. What it says, that religion they can accept and they can propagate it. Propagating means preaching the religion. But forcefully collecting taxes for the management of religious institution and use of religious places for political activities and non-worshipping purpose has been prohibited. Fifth right is cultural and educational rights. Main aim of this right is to protect minor religion and languages and to provide equal education to all. Under this right, no one can be avoid admission in a government aided institutions or minority institutions based on their religion, caste, community or place of birth. Sixth and last fundamental right is right to constitutional remedies. In Kannada, Samvidhanatmaka Pariharagalu. Without constitutional remedies, fundamental rights are meaningless because right to constitutional remedies protects other all fundamental rights. So it's also called protector of fundamental rights. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called this right heart and soul of the constitution. It symbolized the importance of remedies. There are 5 remedies. All the 5 remedies are mentioned in the article number 32. If any individual or government evade our rights, we have right to approach Supreme Court. Even high courts also have the power to question those violating our fundamental rights under article 226. Now let us study remedies one by one. First one is habeas corpus. The order passed by the Supreme Court or the High Court to produce a person within a specified time is called habeas corpus. That means when a person arrested by police department, they should produce him to court within a 2 days or 48 hours after arresting a person. Without proper enquiry in the court, they cannot keep them in a jail and punish. So this protects individual rights of a person. Second remedy is mandamus. When the legislature, executive or any other subordinate institutions fail to perform certain duties or works, the Supreme Court or the High Courts orders them to perform these works, called mandamus. All the members of parliament are part of legislature. Prime Minister and other ministers are called part of executive. When the legislature failure to make proper laws, when the executive failure to implement those new laws, court can question them and they should be answerable. President and governor also part of executive, but this is not applicable to president and governor. They have different method of removal process, that is called motion of an impeachment. Third remedy is prohibition. Third one and fourth one, prohibition and certiorari, both are similar remedies with small differences. First, let us discuss about prohibition. When a subordinate court passes a judgment beyond its jurisdiction or the judgment is against the sense of natural justice, the higher court pass order against such judgment is called prohibition. That means this order is passed by higher court against subordinate courts. Subordinate court means lower courts. See, every courts are having particular limit of powers. When they pass judgment crossing its power limit or against natural justice, that means against constitution, higher court can question lower court. So this is called prohibition. Here, when higher court question lower court should be answerable to higher court. Fourth one is certiorari. As I told you, certiorari is similar to prohibition. But what is the difference between prohibition and certiorari? See, in prohibition, when they pass judgment beyond their jurisdiction or against the sense of natural justice, subordinate courts can answer orally to the higher courts. But in certiorari, subordinate courts should submit all the documents related to their judgment. So this is the difference between prohibition and certiorari. Fifth remedy is co-warrant. Aim of this remedy is to provide government office to right person. This order passed by High Court against those who hold public office illegally. When co-warrant reach to concerned person, he should be answerable in the court. If he failure to prove that he is right person to his government office, that government service goes to right and qualified person. This is called co-warrant. Sixth and last one is public interest litigation. This is also part of constitutional remedies. Main aim of this litigation is to protect social and legal rights of people and to protect the environment from being polluted. So this litigation fights for social and legal rights and against environment pollution. People can file case against those activities which occupy our rights. But nowadays, courts are filing cases by its self-interest when situation arise. So, in this part, we learned 6 fundamental rights, including 5 remedies, 5 plus 1, 6 remedies in the last right. So, in the next part, we can study about fundamental duties and directive principle of state policy.